And we are live.
Well, good evening, everybody. This is Tim Terranova, the proud superintendent of the Victor Central School District. Welcome to the March already edition of our Victor Town Hall. As you can see on the screen, I have some special guests as usual. We have two parts to this show tonight. The first half an hour, we're going to talk about work-based learning and the unique program that we've developed this year under the leadership of Sue Utz. She and some students, as well as a business representative who's also a parent in our district. They're going to talk a little bit about the program, which I think is really fascinating and should generate interest for other kids who are interested. And then the second half, we're going to talk about our diversity, equity, and inclusion recommendations that were presented to the board a couple of weeks ago. So we'll have a group of students on for that too. So without further ado, want to introduce, actually, I'm going to have the kids introduce themselves and their grade, and then I'll turn it over to Sue Utz for a couple minutes, and then we'll ask some questions. Ellie, you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi. I'm Ellie. I'm a senior at Victor.
Great. Caitlin. You're on mute. Caitlin's connecting to audio right there. Try it one more time, my friend. Go ahead. All right, I don't think your mic's working right now, but you might just try to look at it. Where I'm going to skip you and then come back, okay? Chelsea.
Hi, I'm Chelsea and I'm a senior.
And then Justin, how you doing?
Hi, I'm Justin. I'm also a senior.
Great. And while Caitlin's trying to get her mic working over there, Sue Utz, how are you tonight?
I'm doing great, thank you.
I also don't want to forget Bill Gauthier. Mr. Gauthier is not only a business representative. Bill, can you tell us the name of the company?
Yeah, so the name of the company is Jacob, and the company name was basically created with the kids' initials.
Awesome. And Chelsea is your daughter, and
She
you're
is.
also having and you're really starting to have our kids start to do internships in your business, so we really appreciate it. But I'm gonna turn it over to Sue. Sue, you want to just take a couple of minutes and just give a little overview about the program?
I would love to. So work-based learning, and it's a brand new program for the high school this year. The whole idea is to help connect our students to the world of work. We really want to solidify what they're learning in the classroom and how that connects to the workplace. We want to help kids just to be able to really roll up their sleeves and get a taste for career areas of interest. We're doing it in a number of different ways. You're going to hear from our students tonight that are doing internships. So they're actually earning credit by going to work sites, and they're in career pathways of interest. So it's just a really unique opportunity that takes our community employers to be on board and to partner with the school in helping to provide these experiences. So in addition to the internships, we also have opportunities for kids to do job shadows where they might just go out for a half day, bringing in guest speakers, industry tours. There's so many different ways that we can help our kids as they are trying to figure out what life will look like after Victor High School. So it's really exciting. It's new as of January, so this is our first semester. So I give all of our students on this screen a lot of credit because they are our round one, and hopefully just the beginning of a program that's going to continue to grow and, most importantly, make a difference in our students' lives.
That's great. And thanks for your leadership around that. I know it's for people that don't know, Sue has been a business teacher for many years in our district. Basically has built our DECA program into an amazing, one of the strongest in the state, and is still leading our DECA program, but is also now working as our work-based coordinator. So I think it's a great initiative to get our kids involved in real world experiences, especially their junior and senior year. So let me go around just, and I know Caitlin's still trying to get connected, but Ellie, tell us a little bit about where you're doing your internship and what you're doing.
Yeah, so I'm doing my internship with Dr. Bolger at Victor Dental Care. And I'm kind of just getting an idea for what the job of being like a dental hygienist would be like. So yeah, it's great to
So-
get to see everything.
Yeah, what made you get into that? Have you been interested in dentistry and dental hygienist work for a while, or is it something that, how'd you get interested in it?
I've always known that I wanted to go into something in like the medical field. And it's just always been something kind of in the back of my mind that like maybe something in the dental field would be, it's always like appealed to me, something that's very interesting to me. So yeah, it's really helped me, I would say, solidify that like this is the career path that I want to go into.
That's great. And you're a senior?
Yeah.
Excellent. Justin, tell us a little bit about your internship and why you got involved in it.
Yeah, so I'm with MRB Group. They're a civil engineering slash architecture firm located kind of right outside downtown Rochester. Um, Basically, they do a lot of work with like the local community and municipalities. So they kind of help mainly wastewater management. So I've been working with Ryan McMullen. He's kind of in the wastewater management department, and I've already gone out to like sites like the U of R, and I've looked at building plans and kind of a bunch of different things. I've worked with the planning group. I've worked with obviously the wastewater and civil engineers.
Wow. Is that something you've kind of been interested in since you first started high school?
Um, I mean, it's kind of developed, so like basically through the tech and like teachers like Mr. Poliat and Mr. Selvik, they've kind of helped me to like love engineering and kind of just that realm of the world. Like I love to just build things and kind of be creative with it, but then I also like to just solve problems. So
That's great. Thank you, Justin. Chelsea, tell us a little bit about your internship.
Yeah, so I work with my dad at Jacob Lighting. We do LED and renewable energy EV charging stations. We're selling those. And what I've learned at my dad's company is you get a little taste of everything. You get the marketing aspect, you get the finance aspect, you get the project management. And I knew I wanted to go into this originally because my dad actually built this from the ground up. So he originally started at another company and then he completely switched what he was doing and built this company. And first of all, it made me like, oh, I can go into this and I can excel in it knowing I have this role model. And my brother, my older one, is going into it now too. So I'm hoping that my brother and I can take over this company one day and hopefully grow it even better.
I'm laughing. Does your dad know you're taking over the company?
I think he does.
Does he know when? No, just kidding.
Hopefully right after college.
So obviously you've been involved a little bit in your dad's work since you've probably been growing up, but is this a different experience than in the past? Like, is it more intense? And what's
Yeah,
different about it?
definitely. I had a talk with Miss Utz, and originally I had to have somebody as a mentor that would like hold me accountable. And we had a talk, and she was like, well, do you have somebody that works there that isn't related to you? And I was like, well, my dad is basically working like this entire company by himself. He has help here and there, but it's basically him. She was like, well, will he hold you accountable? And I'm like, yes, he will definitely hold me accountable for everything. So what we did with that is now that I'm physically working there and interning there, I'm learning a little bit of everything. Whereas I'd just be like sitting and listening usually, but I'm engaging now and all of the new like incentives coming to our community and everything.
All right, that's great. So he's holding you accountable.
Yes.
Caitlin, let's see. How's the mic doing?
I think I got it now.
Caitlin, it's awesome. You can hear you. All right. So first of all, tell us like who you are, what grade you're in, what's your internship, and how it's going.
So I'm Caitlin. I'm a senior at Victor, and I currently intern down our early childhood building with Miss Zahn as my mentor, who is a school counselor down there. And basically, I've been able to kind of shadow her and see how she leads some group lessons with some kids, or also lessons with, classes, basically teaching them a lot of emotional and social things that are good to learn, and hopefully soon, after spending quite some time there now, I'll be able to kind of take some lead and hopefully start to teach some lessons on my own there.
Counseling lessons.
Yes, counseling lessons. So she has them, like certain kids are sent to her by their teachers with certain aspects they want to work on. So she has like behavioral groups and social groups. So each group kind of focuses on different areas, and they're like 8-week programs.
That's great. You enjoying it?
Yeah, I love it.
And then, well, I'm going to come back to the students, but I want to get to Mr. Gauthier. Can you tell us a little bit about, I mean, again, obviously your daughter has been probably, you've taken her to work, you've done stuff with your family. How did you get involved in a formal internship program with us?
Yeah, so originally what had happened is Chelsea had approached me and she was talking about this internship program, and she had Sue Utz reach out to me because of the concern that Chelsea working directly within the company for me could potentially be problematic just from, holding her accountable. Sue was gracious enough to come in the office. We had a very nice conversation, sat for 20-30 minutes, walked through everything, what she expected, what my level expectation is with anybody who's in the office, particularly my daughter. And she seemed to think everything would work out okay. So we got through that, had to sign some paperwork, and, off to the races. Chelsea's been coming in on B and D days for roughly an hour and 45 minutes. And we're covering everything from the basics of, how we start a job. We do a lot of turnkey work, so there's many facets involved within a particular project. I've taken her in the field, introduced her to contractors. She has physically sat at a conference room table while I'm off having another conversation with clients and holding her own. Going in the field and seeing what it takes to install some of our very large projects. She's very engaging from a perspective of really wanting to know the nuts and bolts of the business, not just, hey, how do I sell? She wants to know everything from the ground up. So it's been a great experience so far. And I wasn't honestly quite sure how it would all work out.
Right.
But every night I've gone home, I've said to my wife, wow, I'm pretty blown away by how she's been in the office. So she's been really, it's been a joy to work with her.
So what do you think are the benefits of having, let's just broaden it a little bit, having high school students participate in these types of internship programs, both the benefit from the student, but actually more importantly, in your case, what's the benefit for the employer?
Yeah, I think the, benefit from the employer perspective is seeing, these, juniors and seniors coming up and potentially seeing what is available from a work perspective. And it also allows me to see the developmental stages of the individual. One of the key pieces that I really focus on is communication, the importance of communication. With the kids, with the social media today, a lot of things are abbreviated and they use certain symbols. And, us adults, we don't use that type of thing. We're communicating via email and, very detailed sentences and things like that. So to me, seeing that and helping them evolve and developing those communication skills is really, really important. Relationship building is also really, really critical as well. And seeing how they actually interact with people, right? Because social media has pulled these kids away from face-to-face interaction, which, B2B business is really, really important because we're doing, human interaction on a daily basis. So that's really, really critical as well.
Yeah, those are great points, especially with after COVID, and no matter the situation, you have to be able to build relationships with people. You have to be able to communicate with people, and you have to be able to work through things with people.
Absolutely.
So I think that's great points. All right, I'll just kind of go around to the different students. So Justin, what's something that that you really love about the internship and something that's been a challenge maybe?
Yeah, so I'd say the best thing about it is just the fact that it's kind of I get to get away from just school and like learning and rather get like you guys have been saying like out there, like somewhere out in the field, like to kind of know what I'm going to expect for my future if I want to follow down this path of engineering. So that's kind of like the best part. Um, and then I'd say like the most challenging part would be trying to balance everything with like a job, school, and this kind of make sure I'm doing everything on time, make sure I'm being there, I'm present, and kind of things like that. But it's been pretty good so far, and I kind of hope continues that way.
So what's your skill? Like, when do you go to the job site?
Yeah, so I go on D days, so I have early D that day. So then I leave school at 12:15. Takes about 20 minutes to get there. So I kind of start around 12:45 and I go usually till 4.
And what would you, before the internship started, what did you do during that time? Were you working or were you just hanging out?
Yeah, I had work.
Okay.
But so I looked at my schedule and then kind of just took off work on those days. And then yeah, from there just it's usually 1 to 4.
That's great, Justin. Chelsea, how about one thing that you really love about the internship and something that's been a challenge?
One thing I definitely love is learning new things about what I didn't previously know. I didn't know about our new incentive program. I didn't know about the key to project management. I didn't know any of that. I didn't know what it would take to get a job done. So I came in here now figuring this out and now knowing, oh, I would like to do this when I'm older. I do have passion for this, which I definitely didn't think I would have as much prior to me going into my internship. But a challenge I would say is probably being able to manage everything that you're learning. You're getting thrown a lot of things at you, especially being the owner of your company. So you need to be able to do numerous different things. And I'm learning many different things all at once. So it has been a little bit challenging, but I did eventually get the hang of it.
And you go, which letter days do you go?
I go B&D days.
Is it would you have early dismissal those days?
I have late arrival. So I have late arrival first period, and then I would have had computer apps, but I replaced it for my internship second period.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Excellent. All right, Caitlin, how about you? How about what do you love about working at the ECS and what's a challenge for you?
I think the best thing from this internship is just getting the real like hands-on knowledge firsthand. You know, I've taken AP Psych and psychology courses offered at the school, but it's not the same as being able to really watch how it's done in a school setting or just in a job setting. And then I think the most challenging part was like what Chelsea and Justin both said is just trying to manage everything, not only just with other responsibilities outside of school and everything, but in during the time when I go to the internship, just trying to keep up with everything and all the terms that are thrown around, just really trying to get it all down, I think has been a little tricky.
Well, you're definitely working with somebody who is phenomenal school counselor. She's awesome.
Yeah.
So I think it's a great experience for you. And then of course, Ellie, how about you? Straights and or positives and maybe a challenge for being in the dentist office.
Honestly, think the best part about the internship for me is actually seeing how the things that we've been learning in all of these classes that we've, had to take throughout our high school careers, seeing how you actually do apply them in, real life job settings. And now I can't say that I've used like algebra and stuff, but you do see some of like the carrying over, especially like in my field, in like the biology, and then especially in a lot of the business classes that I've taken, you really do see that like carry over. And it's kind of nice to be like, okay, it wasn't all for nothing. And then I would say a challenge for mine, kind of like Caitlin mentioned, they do throw around a lot of big words in the dental office, and I went into this with not knowing a lot of this, background stuff. But I mean, I kind of just have been combating that by asking lots of questions, and luckily Dr. Bolter is great, and he's super good at answering all of my questions. So yeah, I'd say that.
And then when are you going? Which letter days?
I go in the afternoons on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Would you do it as part of early dismissal?
Yeah, I actually have double early dismissal for all of
Double
the
early
days.
dismissal.
And then I do classes at FLCC in like the later afternoons. So I go in between, I go to my internship in between my Victor classes and my FLCC classes. So it's a packed schedule, but it's, it's good and I'm learning a lot. So,
What are you in the Gemini program with the
um,
FLCC?
no, it's not a general program. It's just I'm kind of taking classes that I knew were going to help me get into the dental hygiene program that I wanted to get into. And I'm taking classes like I took psych, sociology, English. I'm taking anatomy and physiology, nutrition, and a second English class. So yeah.
Wow, that's fantastic, Ellie. That's great leadership on your part. Did any of you, before I got to turn it over to Sue Utz for a minute, did any of you find out you didn't like the job that you're doing the internship in? You didn't like it as much as you thought you would, or is this a case where the four of you actually enjoyed it as much or more than you thought you would? And anybody can answer.
Well, I'm going to jump in while they're thinking about it. We had two seniors that were at Labella Associates on Monday, and they were environmental engineering, like an architecture. They talked to a number of different people just as a job shadow. So it was just a 1-day experience. And talking to one of the students, she said that it really did help her to talk to what different people do and what she didn't like. It just helped her to clarify a little bit that
Yep.
environmental engineering was definitely of interest to her. So I thought just from that one job shadow day, how enlightening that was for this particular student.
And then did the job shadow situations lead sometimes in the future internships?
I hope so. I hope so. Yes. Like I said, it was two students that went to Labella. They spent the morning together and then they went in different directions because one was looking at architecture, the other was looking at environmental engineering. So they provided a beautiful day for the kids and spoke to a number of different people. So I think I've been around to all the 10th grade classrooms in the last couple of weeks and just really trying to encourage the job shadow. Go out for a day just to even get a taste, maybe even before you commit to an internship. So hopefully one will lead to the next.
Where do you see, Sue, the program in your vision going, say, the next couple of years compared to where it is right now, knowing this is the first semester that you've actually started the program?
Well, I will tell you this, we have our school counselors have done a beautiful job talking to our students and giving our juniors and seniors specifically about the opportunity to intern. So we have quite a list of interested students for next year. With that being said, the importance of bringing on board employers and anyone who is listening that owns a business or works for a company, that would be interested. It's just such a great partnership. As Bill pointed out, not only is it just a great opportunity for our students, but also from an employer standpoint to be a part of the development and to helping our kids prepare. So I see a lot of growth, but it's definitely going to take the support of the community, the employers, et cetera, to help it to continue to be successful.
Yeah, thank you, Sue. And Bill, before we go, I'm going to ask the kids one more question, but before we sign off with the whole group, what would be maybe one or two pieces of advice for our students in general in terms of trying to figure out what they want to be when they leave high school?
Well, it's funny. I was going to say, first and foremost, find something you're passionate about. But all these young, I'm going to call them young adults, seem very passionate about everything they're doing. So first and foremost, I would say don't be afraid to take chances. If you have self-doubt, put yourself out there and just do it. Worst case is you fail. And if you fail, guess what? You get back up on your feet and you're stronger for it. And don't be afraid to ask for help. Use your network, things like that. And, the other thing is I always say, think about where you're thinking you want to be long-term. Think about location. Do you want to be near family? Do you want to be in the sales side? Do you want to travel? Do you want an 8 to 5 job? Things like that. those are things that should always be running through your mind. But doing those job shadows and internships will help you figure that out long term.
Great advice. And we're not gonna hold you to it, but definitely maybe consider is Chelsea the youngest?
Yeah, her and
Yeah,
her
I thought
sister
so.
Mia.
So hopefully you'll consider other potential interns as we
Sure.
move to the next few years.
Sounds
That'd be
good.
great. And then before we sign off, I just wanted to give an opportunity for the young adults to give a shout out to somebody at the high school or even in the younger grades that you were in that maybe has made a really big impact on you. Somebody who just has made a difference in your life and maybe you'd just like to thank. Who wants to go first?
I can go first. Oh,
Go ahead, Chelsea.
I would like to thank Miss Utz for first of all giving me this opportunity and really getting a grasp on what I want to do when I'm older and really getting me into the business world. I've taken just about every single business class in high school, and DECA has definitely shaped me to where I am today.
Thanks, Chelsea. And you are headed for great things. So
Thank you.
awesome job. Who wants to go next?
I'd like to say a big thanks to Mr. Ramo, my school counselor. He's actually the one who got me connected with this program and with Mrs. Utz, and he's just been super helpful through this whole senior year process. It's a real stressful year, but he's made it so much easier and just so much less stressful. So big
I was
thanks
going
to
to
him.
say, Ellie, with that program that you're in right now, your school counselor must have really been somebody who's done a great job and worked collaboratively with you to give you these opportunities. So
Yeah,
I think it's great.
definitely
I think it's great that you thanked him. And again, you're sounds like you're just doing everything you love and just keep up the great work and enjoy the rest of your senior year. Justin, you want to go next?
Sure. Yeah, kind of like what Chelsea said, Mrs. Utz, of course. I mean, she's been there every step of the way, no matter what I'm doing. I mean, like freshman and sophomore year, I've had her for almost every business class, DECA club, and even obviously this. But I'd also want to put a shout out there for Mr. Selvig and Mr. Poliat for kind of just getting me into the tech realm and engineering, things like that.
Thanks, Justin. Justin, what, you a senior?
Yes.
Yep. Excellent. Well, again, you're involved in some amazing experiences in engineering, and it definitely sounds like that's a pathway you want to go into right now. So good luck with everything. You'll do great.
Thank you.
And Caitlin, you're certainly not last. I mean, you're last, but not least. Sorry, at all. Talk. What shout out do you want to give?
I think I'd have to shout out Mrs. Arcangeli. She was my last year AP Psych teacher, and she really just helped push that interest of psychology for me. She's such an incredibly supportive teacher and really explained everything and more that I needed to. And before I took that class, psychology was just an interest, and now it's really turned into a passion after that class.
So it sounds like she's almost like the bridge between the classwork, and she got you really interested in that, as a great teacher does, and then
Yeah.
you get to work with Mrs. Zahn and apply it,
Mm-hmm.
which is awesome. So I think that's great, Caitlin. I think again, hopefully, because this is a position, school psychologist, school social worker, school counselor, all those areas, there's so much needed to help our kids. So hopefully you'll stay loving that, and we'd love to have you back in a few years. Be great. So listen, I just want to thank everybody. Mr. Gauthier, thanks so much for supporting our kids. And certainly Mrs. Utz for your amazing work. The program's just begun, but the fact that you've already got a ton of kids working in this and different, we didn't even get into the work study and the other stuff. I just think it's amazing, and we just need to keep supporting it. So thank you so much, and really appreciate you coming on the show. I know many of you changed some plans to be on tonight, so I really appreciate it. You're very busy people. But thanks for everything, and enjoy your senior years, because the best part of your senior year, you just finished the Boston trip, right? Which was a little shorter than we thought it was going to be, but you had a great time, and then the spring's going to be great. So have an awesome senior year. Okay, everybody?
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks, Dr.
you.
Terranova.
Thank you.
Thank you. We're going to stay on, and we got a new group of students coming on, hopefully, to talk about our diversity, equity, and inclusion recommendations. Let's give him a second here. Everybody's coming on. Thanks to Mr. Isaacs, as usual, who does a seamless job transitioning kids to from the first part of the program to the second. If those of you that are coming on now, you just take your time. There we go. Ashna, how you doing, Ashna?
I'm
All right,
doing
we got-
really well. How are you?
Good to see you.
Good
Karen,
to see you
how's it
too.
going, buddy?
Pretty good, Dr. Terranova. What about you?
Nice, I'm great. Nice to see you. We got
Nice to-
Tristan. Tristan, you made it. Try out the speaker. Let's make sure it works, Tristan.
Okay. Is it working?
I did hear you, but you look like you're on mute. Try it one more time.
Is it working now?
I hear you. Yeah, it's working. I think it's pretty good. It's a little slow with the picture, but we definitely hear your voice. And then what do we have? We have Vanessa and Carly.
Yeah.
Yeah, hi.
Hi.
We got both of you.
Mm-hmm.
How's it going?
We're good. How are you?
Great. Thanks for joining me. I know you're very, very busy people. Actually, why don't you tell everybody your name and the grade level you're in? Go ahead, Karen.
My name's Karan Deol, and I'm a junior.
And were you on the DEI committee?
I was on the DEI committee. Yep.
Okay. Ashna.
My name is Ashna Rahman, and I'm a sophomore.
Sophomore. And then Tristan, try it out, see if it works.
I'm Tristan. I'm a sophomore.
Excellent. We heard you great. And then last but not least, Vanessa and Carly.
I'm Vanessa and I'm a freshman. I'm Carly Passion and I'm also a freshman.
And you guys are both on the committee too,
Correct.
Yes.
correct? All right, so this is great that you came on with me tonight. The goal, so people know, the goal of the DEI committee and ultimately the DEI recommendations was, it's the kind of the mantra we have, is to improve our ability as a school district to make sure every child feels valued, supported, and heard regardless of their differences, and to make sure our differences are looked upon as strengths. So maybe we go around a little bit. We'll start with Vanessa and Carly. How did you become interested in being on this committee and maybe interested in promoting equity and inclusion?
We thought it was going to be a good learning experience to learn more about the community and our DI committee, and yeah. And we also thought it would be like a good learning experience and something to do like out of our comfort zone.
Okay, well, definitely was, right?
Yeah.
Karen, what about you, my friend? What kind of spurred you to be on the committee and promoting equity and inclusion?
Yeah, so I was largely inspired by like the social reforms that came like during 2020, especially after like the death of George Floyd. And I saw the DEI committee as a way that I could try to improve my community and try to look at like equity and inclusion and how to advance that in Victor.
Thanks, Karen. Ashna.
Yeah, diversity has always been really important to me and my identity. And so when I saw that the school was forming a committee that accepted students, I thought it was really cool because like student representation is really important, especially in work that I would have seen as adult work. And like I'm in the building and I'm there every day and I see what the community needs, maybe differently compared to what an adult might see. So to be able to use my voice in that way is really valuable to me.
Tristan's trying to, can you hear me, Tristan? I don't know if her connection's working. Tristan, if it starts to work, just come on and start talking so we'll know you're available. What has been your own experiences with equity and inclusion in just our district in general, I guess?
I guess from my perspective, I think it's been pretty positive, trying to make some change. And I think the committee's going to do a really good job with that and trying to actually make some concrete, like, concrete move toward a better future for everyone.
Who wants to go next?
I can. I've been involved in a couple of different things at the school that really have to do with diversity, like the Rock to Change Summit. Um, so I've thought about it and I've been a lot more mindful of it as I've gone into high school, thinking about my own experiences, and just how like I might be perceived as some compared to someone else and what I have to bring to the table in the school community compared to all the other different types of people. So
Great point, Ashna. Thank you. And then, yeah, go ahead, Vanessa and Carly.
For first, like we're both first gen Americans. Her parents are from Vietnam and my parents are from the Philippines. And so we all both like grew up in different cultures than like the kids at Victor, and like wanting to like learn and like have like more cultural diffusion around our school and like be like a more diverse like community, and having like making sure to like have like a lot of inclusion and equality when it comes around for like resources of the school and such.
Right. Kristen, you want to try? What's been your experience around dealing with equity and inclusion in your life and in Victor?
I've had a lot of like friends who have gone through a lot of things, specifically relating to the LGBTQ community. And I wanted to help like make the school a more open and welcoming place so that they don't have to go through that kind of things, and so that I and other people in the future don't have to go through those kinds of things.
That's a powerful point. And I think your leadership, because I've seen you on a variety of leadership groups and I know what kind of leader you've been, I think you definitely are impacting that in a positive way, Tristan. So thank you. I guess I'll ask to each of you, what do you think is one or two of the most important parts of the recommend? Like what are the, I guess a better way to say it is, what are the one or two most important recommendations from the plan that kind of resonate with you? Karan, we can start with you.
I think two things that really resonated with me was first off data collection, especially in grades, athletics, extracurriculars, and how are different groups represented, especially in things like AP classes and dual enrollment. I just think that's really important to see just how the district is doing, to see how we can improve. And I think something else that really resonated with me is like restorative justice. I think it's really important to like for administrators and teachers and even students to see like how are they getting back from like challenging moments. Like if a kid is being bullied, how are we going to deal with that in a way that both the person who's being bullied and the bully are treated fairly and ensure that everything goes in a way that we can return to normalcy. So I think those are just two things that I think are going to be really impactful and are going to really make Victor a better community.
And Karan, I think both points are obviously important. The first one around the data collection and representation of groups in different aspects of an education. I think that gets to this concept of equity, and lots of people confuse, I think, the definition of equity. But my understanding from working with the committee, it's really kind of a guarantee of universal access for people to have the opportunity and the support to achieve anything they want to achieve. So if we find discrepancies in different groups in terms of their ability to participate or do something, or even maybe it's too much participation, like special education or the behavioral system, then it's our job to try to figure out ways to better support those individuals, to make sure they have those opportunities and the resources necessary to support them to have those opportunities that others have. And I think it's really important in equity. It's not taking stuff away from others. It's trying to support people, and giving them that ability to be involved in those things or do well in those things. They still have to earn it. They still have to do it, but it's really building the scaffolding necessary to help them out. So, I mean, I think you said it a lot better than I did, but that's really, to me, is what equity is. Ashna, what resonates with you from the recommendations from the DEI work?
Well, I mean, I was really thinking a lot of what you guys already said. You kind of covered it pretty well. But one thing that I'd like to highlight is the emphasis on like routine analysis and keeping up to date with the work and the policies because the plans have a lot of measurable goals, which I think is really valuable because you can check to see if the committee is actually, delivering on their promises and if it's effective. And if it's not meeting the clear goals that were outlined, we can see what needs to change. And more specifically, just a lot of that stuff that I've never even thought about when it deals with equity and inclusion, like coursework and making sure that the books that we read have diverse authors and all that kind of stuff. I have a lot more mindfulness about equity in a school community now, in just all those types of aspects.
Thanks, Ashna. Tristan, how about you? What resonates for you?
Um, Again, everyone's already kind of said the things I was thinking of, but something I thought was really cool about it, and with the plan was that all different people got to work together, whether it be students or teachers or community members, got to work on the same plan. And I think that's really cool. Because we got to see all different perspectives on the idea that we are going after, and then how to fit everyone's perspective into it, and then making it the best that we could.
Yeah, and I would say, Tristan, that's almost the blueprint we want to use as adults to try to solve problems. So I think that's a great point that you made. And then Vanessa and Carly, what did you really think was important in the recommendations?
We were thinking like also as well as like how everyone gets like making sure that everyone gets like equal opportunities and like be able to do like have the same resources to grow as like a community and be able to like learn from each other and be able to like have like to make sure everyone has like the same like opportunities and like be able to, like we all have like equal chances and stuff like that.
I have a question for all of you or anybody who wants to answer, because one of the themes from the recommendations was to increase student voice to allow for all voices to be heard. What do you think about that, objective and how important it is, I guess?
I think it's really important. I think that students should have a huge role in dictating how their education goes. And I think that like opportunities like the DEI committee, where certain students can make their voices heard, I think that's really important to creating like a community and making sure that students feel represented.
Right. Anybody else want to add anything to that one?
I mean, just to kind of sum it up, at the end of the day, the work that we're doing and the policies that we're creating are for the students. So you have to make sure that the students agree with it and feel like their needs are being catered to. Because all their obstacles that they might have in the way, this plan needs to kind of support the students that have those obstacles so that they can achieve success.
Great point. How about this? What does it mean? And I think it seems like a simple answer, but I'd like to get your perspective. Anybody who wants to jump in. What's it mean to look at people's differences as strengths and valuing their differences versus looking at differences as threats or weaknesses? I mean, there's a big difference between those two perspectives, right? We all have differences. How do we, I guess, focus on looking at them as strengths and valuing them versus weaknesses or threats?
I think it's good to look at them as like strengths because we all have like these differences, but that means like we can all have like different things that we can contribute to like the DEI committee, and like that means we can contribute more to our society, like our community and Victor overall, and like because we all have like different like strengths and like all compiled into one. It's just like it makes like for a stronger like committee and like makes it for like a stronger community and like DEI.
And then Vanessa and Carly, what you said it at the beginning. This is your first generation from where?
Her family's from Vietnam and my family is from the Philippines.
Okay, and so if you had stayed, so when were you born here or were you born in the Philippines and Vietnam?
Oh, we were both born here, but our
Okay.
parents emigrated here.
What's the biggest lesson you think you learned from your parents from doing that tough challenge of shifting over to a different country?
My parents, they both grew up really, really poor, and we had to they only had they barely had any food or clothes to wear every week. They only had 2 pairs of pants to wear to school every day or wear out. And seeing them fight, because my mom's now she looking at her, she used to be so poor and she only had a single mother and a brother trying to provide for all 7 of her siblings, and looking at her, she fought and she studied so hard, and now she's a nurse practitioner. And my dad also as well, he worked, so he works so my mom and him can have a better life here. And my mom brought him and her to America with as a nursing student.
Wow.
And so seeing them study really hard and fight for what they believed in, it's really inspiring.
And you'll never forget that.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody else want to talk about this concept of seeing differences as strengths and valuing them in relation to threats?
Well, I mean, we've kind of been hearing this since we were kids that your differences are who you are. But I mean, it's true because everybody has different ideas and different viewpoints that will add to a community and just really get the best product out of it, if that makes any sense.
Mhm.
Everybody contributing their own ideas and their own um, unique attributes makes for a diverse community that has a lot to offer.
Another fantastic point. And each of you, I think, right? Tristan, you're a junior?
Sophomore.
That's even better, Tristan, sophomore. So all of you will be back at least one more year. And many of you for multiple years. So I think that's going to be huge in, your leadership and helping support others to understand that concept. Because I think two of the most important pieces to this, my own opinion around the recommendations, maybe it's 3, I don't know, but at least 2. One is student voice. Students have to drive this because they're the people who are dealing with it, like as somebody said. And the second one is the understanding and appreciation and valuing of differences in people. I think that's a huge lesson for all of us to learn. And I guess I would add a third, which gets to I think Karin and Ashna's point a little while ago, which is we need to continue to look at the representation of what's going on in our school. And if there's under or over representation in a bad light, like over representation in something that we would rather have different, or under representation in something that we'd rather have different, how do we help support those groups of people, those individuals, to be as successful as possible? And again, that's not taking away from somebody who is having success. It's trying to give the resources to people who might not have those resources to help them and make sure that we're equitable in that. So I think those are my 3 points, but I loved what all of you said. Before we sign off, I always do this, and some of you have been on before. So think about an adult in this school district. And in this case, I'll be a little more specific. Somebody who kind of walks the walk around just celebrating inclusivity, celebrating people for their differences, their uniqueness, somebody who really has been a role model for you in terms of sending that message and making you feel welcome. And it could be anybody in school. It could be somebody from your younger years too. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first. I want to shout out Mrs. Fiorito. She's my APUSH teacher. I think she always makes everyone feel welcome. And she's just really great at teaching and really great at keeping her classroom a great environment for everyone. So I just want to shout her out.
What is she teaching?
She teaches AP US History.
Yep. You're taking her right now?
Yep.
Yep. She's an amazing teacher. How about Tristan?
I'd like to shout out Miss Policelli. She is the GSA advisor and then one of the diversity club advisors. She makes people and myself feel very supported in the school and is someone that I know I can go and talk to if something is happening. And yeah.
Have you had her for English?
I have not, no.
So that's amazing that she's made such an impact on you, Tristan, and you haven't actually had her as a teacher, and she's an amazing teacher as well. So that's pretty cool. Thank you, Tristan. Carly and Vanessa, who you want to give a shout out to?
We both have like two different
yeah,
teachers.
we have two different
Yeah.
teachers.
That's
So
probably cool. That's good.
I want to give a shout out to Miss Van Callenberg. She's a 7th and 8th grade home and careers teacher. Throughout like my school history, like during the junior high, she's always like been there for me. She's been an outlet for me. And even though I don't have her as a teacher anymore, she's still there for me. I still go visit her often, and she like never fails to put a smile on my face. She's always there to listen, and her classroom environment is very like welcoming, and she's just like a great teacher.
Great.
For me, Mrs. Stout, she's my biology teacher, and she's been working here for 20 years, and she always like makes sure to like welcome everyone. Like her classroom is very welcoming, and many old students visit her, and she like makes sure to talk to everyone and like make sure everyone feels like involved and like included and like make sure like they feel welcome. And she like always asks us like about our days, and like we always like go visit her and like ask her about her day. She's a very nice teacher, and she's also a very good teacher, and I get really good scores in her like class because she's such a good teacher. Like she just teaches really good.
You know, you make a great point, because a couple things. One, teachers who are really good teachers, that's really important. And then teachers who are really good to you as people and make you feel welcome. If you get, that's what teachers are like at Victor, where you get the best of both worlds. They're good at what they do, and then they make you feel welcome. And if you have those two things, you get a great teacher right there. So excellent examples for both of you. Ashna, I have not forgotten about you. How many
I
times
know,
you been
don't
on the
worry.
town hall, Ashna?
I think this is my second time,
Okay. Your
but
brother was on.
second of many.
Your brother
Yes,
was on.
he was.
All right.
He's in Los Angeles right now doing,
Really?
yeah, I think he's doing more debate things for his college.
It's amazing.
So, yeah, he's busy. That's why I couldn't join today. But I mean, I was gonna say Miss Stoutenberg as well, because she's been such a important person in my life. As a teacher, she's my microbiology and anatomy teacher. And she's helped like develop my career interests because I think I want to go into medicine. And also she's just always there for you. And Mr. Weiss as well, for comp sci. I don't feel very confident in my comp sci abilities, but he's always encouraging me, and willing to talk about comp sci and anything outside of comp sci that I might be insecure about. And he's always open to learning more about his students. That's really nice to have those two.
It's awesome. Thanks, Ashna. And thanks to all of you. I know you just recognized some fantastic adults, and I know they're very appreciative of you recognizing them. Most importantly, thank you for all your leadership. Equity and inclusion is obviously something that we are promoting at the highest levels. We couldn't do this without your leadership. And I hope to continue to work with you. I'm looking forward to continuing to work with you around that leadership as you move through the high school and then head off to great things. So thank you so much for joining us tonight. I know you're very busy. We really appreciate it. And that's it for our town hall for March. Everybody, don't forget, it is April break starting on Friday. And then, so everybody you get Friday off, the whole next week, and then the following Monday for the eclipse. Karen, you know what the number one rule of those with the eclipse?
Don't look at it.
Yes. Well, you can look at it, but you got to wear those special glasses.
Yep.
I've got to send that message. So Monday, whatever that day is, I think it's the 8th, you still have off. So you're not going to be back until the 9th of April. So have a great break, everybody. Thanks again for coming on, and take care of yourselves. Okay. See you later.
Thank you.
Thank you.